Hey guys, my name is Batimio, and today, now that we've had a chance to play the Battlefield 4 Beta for a while now, I wanted to kind of talk about making some improvements to the game. And don't get me wrong, I am loving Battlefield 4 as of right now, and I cannot wait for it to launch on October 29th, but this is a beta, and this is what betas are for, is so that we can make these suggestions, and so that DICE can gather all of this data, and they can get our suggestions, and so that when the game launches, we just have a much more improved and polished game. And so the first thing that I would like to see done is to eliminate the amount of clutter that is on the screen at any given time. I don't know if this is a problem on console, but at least on PC, especially on a 64-man server, there is just an absurd amount of icons dancing around on your screen. You have all of the blue triangles indicating your different allies, you have the green triangles indicating your squad mates, you have all of the different objective symbols up there as well, and while it's very useful information, like you want that on your screen, but at the same time, they don't go transparent at any moment, and they just are so bright that there are moments where it blocks your viewpoint and your line of sight on enemies. And so there are a lot of times when I'm pushing up onto an objective and there are a lot of allies around that objective, I don't even notice the 3 or 4 enemies that just skirted around the corner because those different icons are on the screen. And so what I would kind of like to see done to solve this issue is that if you are looking in a certain direction, cause those indicators to go transparent. Don't go too crazy with it, because you still want to know if an ally is up on an objective, and you want to know when they are capturing it or when an enemy is capturing it, but it shouldn't be to the point where you can't see what's going on your screen. Another thing that they can do is make it so the further away your allies are, the smaller the triangle is above their head. Like I want to know when an ally is capturing an objective or if they are near an objective that's being captured by an enemy, but at the same time, I don't need to have this giant blue symbol above their head across the map. Like I need to know that they're there, but it doesn't need to be as large as it is. And so that would eliminate the amount of clutter, but at the same time, it would just kind of be helpful knowing how far away they are as well. Another thing I'd kind of like to see changed is the way that the Obliteration game mode works. While I'm in love with the mode overall, one problem that I have with it is whenever you pick up the bomb or whenever someone has it, it doesn't matter where they are in the map, you know their exact location. They can be behind a wall, you can see them on the mini-map, they can be across the map, doesn't matter, like you know exactly where they are. And while this makes it very easy for you to identify where the objective is, and that's very important for a very objective-oriented game mode, at the same time, I have some issues with it. The first thing being is that when you have the bomb itself, everyone basically can wall hack on you. And I've played matches where I've gone against other players where I avoid the bomb for a couple of seconds because I know that if they pick it up, I will know exactly where they are, and just as they round the corner, I basically pre-fire and take them out. Essentially wall hacks at that point. The other issue I have with it is that when you are trying to take out the bomb carrier and they're, 50 meters out, a fair distance away from you, the bomb icon itself is larger than the player model. And so essentially you're just shooting at a giant orange circle on your screen. And at least for me, that kind of seems like a poor design decision. And it once again goes back to my earlier critique where there's just too much clutter or too many icons on the screen itself, and it just kind of detracts a little bit too much from the gameplay. And so the system that I would kind of like to see in place is that instead of having a constant indicator of the exact location of the bomb carrier at all times, make it so it's more of a radar system where maybe every 5 seconds the bomb will ping, showing you the location on the minimap but also on your screen, but then it will stay there. And if the bomb carrier moves around, the bomb icon won't move along with it. And then the next 5 seconds, it will ping again, giving you the general idea of where the bomb is heading, but not allowing you to have wall hacks at all times, but also making it so that when you are shooting at the bomb carrier, you can see the character model itself with the giant bomb on their back and also the flashing light. I think this would be a simple solution. I don't think it would detract from the game, and I actually think it would be a large improvement. I would also like to see some changes done to the bolt-action rifles in the game, because after playing for a while, I've realized, and I think a lot of people have come to the same conclusion, is that the smoke trail that follows the bullets is a little obtrusive, and it makes it really hard to know how much bullet drop is actually occurring, because when you try to snipe someone at a distance, it's not impossible to take them out, but because the bullet trail is there, it blocks the arc of the bullet, making it really hard to know if your bullet is hitting where you want it to, and so it becomes very, very challenging for you to hit people at a distance. And so what I'm kind of hoping that they do is that they either tone it down significantly so it's a lot more transparent so you can actually see your bullet travel through the air, or just eliminate it completely. And you know, I do understand why DICE put it in the game in the first place. They wanted to make it so that if you were being sniped by a recon, you could follow the bullet trail back to their sniper perch, and then hopefully have a fighting chance at either taking them out or just kind of ducking behind cover so they're not able to kill you. But as of right now, it's just a little bit too much, it's just a little bit too obtrusive, and I think some changes need to be done. There's also been a lot of talk about the lock-on capabilities for the RPG, and my thought process is that it's a little bit too powerful as of right now, and what I would kind of like them to do is to eliminate the lock-on capabilities for not only RPG, but also for the SMAW, but keeping it in for all of the other missiles that are available for the Engineer. So it doesn't matter if you're using, let's say, the Law or the Javelin, as long as that helicopter is lit up by a Recon's portable laser designator, you're going to be able to lock onto them and take it out. And my reasoning behind this is that we want there to be a lot of missiles that can take advantage of a Recon's portable laser designator, but at the same time not having everyone run around with just the RPG, because if the RPG stays the way that it currently is, then there really isn't a lot of incentive to use all of the other rockets, because as long as there are recons using that nifty little gadget, then you're going to have the capability of taking out air targets, ground targets, and you're going to hit really, really hard. The great thing about the RPG is that it's the hardest hitting rocket in the game, and if you have the accuracy along with the portable laser designator, it's going to hit harder and do everything better than every other rocket, and we don't really want that. Another thing that I would like to see tweaked is with regards to the map Siege of Shanghai. And this is a very small gripe, but one problem I have is that when you take down the skyscraper, while I love the evolution aspect of it, I love the fact that it really changes the way that you have to approach that objective, new routes and avenues open up, I don't like the amount of dust that flies up in the air. And I realize that it's completely realistic. When a skyscraper falls down in the middle of a city, dust is going to fly everywhere, and it's going to get on everything, and it's going to turn into what we basically have within the Battlefield 4 beta. And maybe it's just because we've only been able to play on this one map, and we're just oversaturated to having this type of gameplay. But when it falls and when the dust is everywhere, it just makes the map itself look terrible. Like, they put so much time and effort into making Siege of Shanghai a very bright and vibrant map that looks amazing. Like, the graphics on at least PC are fantastic, but when the skyscraper falls, it's like all those textures get muddied, it looks so gray, and it, for me personally, it really takes away from the gameplay experience. And so what I would like to see done, and I realize that this isn't realistic by any means, is that when the skyscraper falls, just make it so that the dust cloud is centered around that objective and only that objective, or make it so that it gets more condensed the closer that you get, and so that when you're playing on the other capture points, it doesn't just look like a gray mess and just detracts and takes away from how gorgeous this maps look when it does fall. I know that this is a small gripe, and I don't think that DICE is really going to do this, but I'm kind of crossing my fingers. But other than that, I didn't want to talk really too much about class balance or weapon balance at this point, because we really haven't gotten our hands on, well, really any of the gadgets or weapons in the game at this point. Like, the beta only gave us a very small sample, so I'll basically talk more about that when the game launches. But that's basically my list on what I would like to see changed when the game launches on October 29th. But I'd like to know what you guys think. Is there something in the game that you really want to see changed? Let me know down below in the comment section. But that is about it for today's video, guys. I hope you enjoyed, and so until tomorrow, have a good one and take it easy.